Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Myers. I'm excited to talk to you about a few sweeteners that I've included in the Autoimmune Solution Cookbook that I did not use in the Autoimmune Solution book. So many of you all have already done the 30-day protocol. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you and say how much I appreciate you for taking back your own health. So if you've already finished the 30-day protocol, these are sweeteners that I use in my own life and that I do think, should you be symptom-free and feeling good and have lowered yourself on that autoimmune spectrum, that you can partake in these on special occasions, like birthdays and anniversaries and just times that you want. So if you haven't done the 30-day program in the Autoimmune Solution book and you're new to me and my programs, I'd recommend that you hold off on these for just a bit. And if you're someone who's dealing with Candida or SIBO as well, hold off on incorporating these into your diet until you've overcome those infections. And if you have one of those infections, I have a SIBO program and a Candida breakthrough program, should you be interested, available on my website. Let's dive in. The first up is cacao, nibs, and powder. Cacao is actually raw chocolate. It hasn't been heated or treated or processed or even sweetened. The great thing about it is it's bursting with antioxidants and essential fatty acids. It's also super rich in magnesium, iron, as well as other nutrients. Now, the little nibs are like pebbles. They're broken bits of cacao seeds. It's best if you store these in a refrigerator, and they're available as a powder or, again, as these nibs. They're obviously not as sweet as a chocolate bar that you'd eat, but once you become accustomed to having this type of rich, dark chocolate, they're absolutely delicious. I use them in the cookbook in the mint chocolate chip smoothie recipe, as well as a few others. Cocoa powder is cacao that's been heated and roasted at high temperatures. It doesn't have nearly as many nutrients, but it is still rich in antioxidants, and it has fewer calories than cacao. These two can be interchanged from one another. Now, if you are looking at cocoa, please do skip the sugar-filled hot cocoa packets and things like that. So this is, again, 100% pure cocoa. It's used in creamy hot chocolate in my cookbook, as well as peppermint hot chocolate, and you're going to love them both. Next up, we have coconut sugar, which is made from boiled and rehydrated sap of the coconut palm. It's very similar to brown sugar. It's brown in nature. However, it contains less glucose and less fructose than cane sugar. Now, you still do need to use it in moderation. I mean, it is considered a sugar. However, it's great for baking. If you're making cakes or cookies, things like that, it can be interchanged one for brown sugar. We all know about honey. Honey has fabulous antimicrobial properties and immune boosting properties. You want to make sure not to give it to anyone under 1 year old, and make sure you're always choosing raw honey. Now, it's best if you get honey that is made locally to you, particularly if you're dealing with seasonal allergies. There are many studies showing it can actually help with that. Now, raw pure honey is unpasteurized and it's raw, coming straight from the beehives. Now, I worked with bees when I lived in rural Paraguay in the Peace Corps, and it was fascinating and delicious to go out to the hive, scrape off the honey, and just eat it. This, if you can't get it like that, is the next best thing. When you pasteurize honey, it kills all the nutritional value and takes away the antibacterial and antimicrobial properties. So again, be sure to get the raw honey, make sure it's in a glass jar, is local, and you don't give it to a child under 12 months of age. Next up, we have maple syrup. Maple syrup is made by boiling and reducing the sap of certain maple trees. It's rich in zinc and magnesium. Be sure to buy pure maple syrup, not pancake syrup that has natural flavorings, high fructose syrup, and even added sugars. Right now on Netflix, there's a show called Dirty Money, and one was all about the greatest heist of maple syrup. People stole gallons upon gallons of maple syrup worth literally millions, if not billions of dollars in Canada. It's very fascinating. So it takes 40 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of syrup. Talk about liquid gold. That's what makes it a little bit more expensive than honey and some of the other sweeteners out there. However, it's delicious, and a little bit goes a long way. Molasses. I had so much fun when I was living in Paraguay making molasses with my family there. I literally went out into the fields, helped them cut down sugarcane using a machete. We cut off the outer layers, ran the stalks through a crank, and it extracted the sugar or juice. We then boiled the juice and it made molasses. It was so yummy, again, to eat it right there. Now, not everybody can do that, so you can purchase it over the counter in any grocery store. Make sure you're getting it in a glass bottle and that it's organic. So each time it's boiled, it gets darker and darker and thicker. So depending on your taste buds, you either want to go with super dark and thick or one maybe a little less so. Now, the great thing about molasses is that it's high in B6, as well as calcium, magnesium, iron, and manganese. 1 tablespoon provides 20% of the recommended daily allowance of all of those nutrients. So blackstrap molasses is the third boil, and it's a really great source of potassium. Growing up in the South, we used this on our pancakes growing up, and it's really delicious. Also used in all kinds of things like a ginger or molasses cookie, which my mother made growing up as well. So I have a special place in my heart for blackstrap molasses. Stevia is our next up, all-natural sweetener and sugar substitute. It comes from the leaves of Stevia rubrandia out of South America. In fact, I grew this with my farmers in Paraguay. They'd never grown it before. It's native to Paraguay in the northern part of the country, as well as Brazil. But we lived in the south central part. So I taught them how to grow stevia that we exported to the United States and Japan. The active compound is stevia glycosides, which is estimated to be between 150 to 300 times sweeter than sugar. The good thing about it is that it doesn't raise your blood glucose levels. Now, you want to be sure that when you're getting stevia, you're getting 100% stevia. A lot of times it's mixed with other sugars or sugar alcohols. So you can either get the powdered leaf or 100% liquid extract. This is the form that I typically use in my house. Make sure you're not getting like a Truvia or a Pure Via, because there's sugar alcohols and natural flavors and other chemicals that are added to the stevia. Defeats the point, right? Now with stevia, a tiny, tiny bit goes a long, long way. Next up, we have monk fruit, which is a fruit grown only in China. It was originally grown by monks for centuries, which is how it gets its name. It's dried and turned into a powder as a sweetener. It's very similar to stevia in the sense that it's 200 to 300 times sweeter than sugar. 0 calories, and it doesn't raise your blood sugar levels. So both of these are wonderful for baking, or if you have a little sweet tooth, or even if you're dealing with candida or SIBO and you can't have any type of sweetener at all. It has a lovely flavor similar to chocolate or molasses. Again, make sure you're buying pure monk fruit because some of the products out there contain other added sweeteners. Now, last up we have is date sugar. Now, date sugar is made by drying and grinding dates. It's full of potassium, iron, B vitamins, and fiber. It has a sweet flavor similar to butterscotch. Now, be careful, it's made from dried dates, so it certainly can affect your blood glucose and your waistline. Use it in moderation. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about some of the sweeteners that are used in moderation throughout the Autoimmune Solution Cookbook.